mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way. Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know
What's up, and welcome to another exciting episode of Ride the Rebellion podcast. I'm your host, Drew Hall, and with me today is the king of the South Alabama Turndown and almost the sweatiest man alive, based on how our summer's going, Dale Boyd of Dale Boyd Sweat Management.
It's not even summer yet. This sucks.
So,
We're going to have like the eternity summer.
yeah,
Eternal summer.
yeah, eternal summer of the spotless mind.
The greatest movie ever.
Welcome to the show. This is, of course, the only zero drop podcast on the planet. You might listen to other mountain biking podcasts, but those people are most likely going to talk to you because they know about how to fix a bike. They're probably going to talk to you about they know how to build a trail. They might even talk to you about they know how to ride a bike. But on this podcast, we're going to talk to you like we don't give a
because we don't actually.
We have no idea.
Those people might actually get paid to talk about some things.
Yeah, if we were really like savvy editors, it would just cut over to our buddy from Escape, and it would just cut to him. He's like legit, bike journalist. Anyway, so today on the show, cool topic. Dale kind of knows it, but it's going to be a little bit raw because I think it'd be more interesting that way. So we're going to dive into that in a second. Before we do, let's talk about our sponsors real quick. If you guys, and prior to that, we were able to recover the missing episode. So if you've not had a chance to go watch the Bull Gap, is it Bulls? Or is it just
bowl.
One bowl or single
Just
bowl?
One bowl.
One bowl?
Uno bowl.
Yeah. Do you know what you do with an elephant with three balls?
Mm-hmm.
You walk them because the rhino's up next.
Ah.
Stupid. I just watched Hot Shot.
Oh yeah, Hot Shot is great. Did it hold up?
Yeah, because it's so bad. Like I was
yeah.
trying to make Pearl watch it with me because I was like, she would probably laugh at this. And she was like, she goes, what I'm watching is like an adult movie. She doesn't know that term, right? A grown-up movie, if you will. But they tried to make it for kids. I was like, that is exactly what Hot Shots, Airplane, and all of those are.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you haven't seen the episode exists. It's up there. We talk about Bull Gap Aid Station Part 2. That's where I was going with it.
Oh,
Hot Shots
yeah.
Part 2. And if you have a chance, check that episode out, and you'll know more about it. There's lots of fun details, and we got the name of the food truck. It's called the Seared Beard.
That's right.
Just to update everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we had it right last time, right?
No, I stumbled on that one. I knew it was a beard something.
Yeah, there was a beard involved.
Mm-hmm.
Also, so with that said, that episode's out there. So there's 2 episodes. Just find the one you want. If you want a short one, you get 15 minutes. It just randomly cuts off. If you want the good one, it's there too. I'm not going to replace them. I just got to notice that we're no longer on Google Podcast. That's because Google is no longer doing podcasts.
Oh, really?
Fascinating.
Spotify to the top.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. A little smitty to the top. So we'll do our quick roll call of sponsors. I know that there was a nice little chat ski going around, group chat going around of one of our members, the Todd, is headed up to Build, Tune, Ride to pick up a shock and have Jody tune it. Because again, we're big fans of Build, Tune, Ride, not just because he loves us and sponsors the show, but also because Jody is secretly our private mechanic. Oh, secret's out. Anyway, you can go find Jody too. He can help you with bikes. He can help you with parts. He can help you get fit, all the good stuff. And the stockyard's there, which is a pretty rad place. Again, we talked about it last episode that now you can listen to. So if you head over to, is it buildtuneride.com? We don't know.
I don't know.
We're terrible. Whatever. If you look up Build Tune Ride, you're going to find them. I think it's buildtuneride.com. Anyway, head over there if you want to look at some intense stuff and other bits like that. But while you're running over that way, you might want to swing into...
That way is far from everywhere else, but maybe Summit Bike Academy will be having a bike academy at some Stockyard or Oak Mountain, because they have representatives at Oak Mountain now. Shane Richardson's up there, so hopefully they have a couple classes up there soon.
Yeah, that'd be good. If you haven't checked out Summit, we've plugged them. I mean, look, I can never say enough good things, but we plugged them enough. So moving on.
Caught me off guard there.
I know, that's why I was laughing, because I straight got you. I thought you'd be ready.
I was ready, not for that one though. When you said over there, I was like, "Oh, well, wait a minute, it's too far." All right.
And if you look to Dale's right, camera left, whatever that is, that artwork over there, you might recognize it from the jerseys of Pro Tricycle, Pro,
just Pro Cycle.
I know, but their website's not.
That was still Pro Cycle and Try.
procyclingtry.com if you head over there. That is a fantastic shop. That's one of our favorite bike shops in the southern Alabama, or I'd say along the Gulf Coast, simply because it feels like an old school bike shop. When you roll up in there, you're going to get some witty banter. You might get yelled at.
They have rides about every single night of the week.
And they have a ton of rides. Yeah, for all kinds of various levels of stuff. But they'll also offer you a beer.
That's right.
And they carry a whole line of stuff, including Pivot, Santa Cruz, Cervelo.
Yeah,
Cervix.
I don't know the road bike band Cervix.
all the female anatomy bikes.
They also apparently Joseph taunted me with his exponentially greater than mine pizza oven. He has a pizza oven that rotates.
Are we gonna have this?
Yeah, he said you guys need to come over and have pizza at my place.
Oh, I can't wait. Let's do it.
The pizza gauntlet has been thrown down.
Listen, this is the greatest thing for the Rev that's ever happened.
I know it is.
We're gonna have a pizza off at the next Jank Fest.
Man, that'd be great.
That would be so rad.
Pizza cook off. No one will end up riding their bikes. Everybody just eats pizza.
Too fat and
well, no, we already have another idea for the Jank Fest.
That's true. Which was super fun. Can't wait for that.
Wait for that. Get a teammate.
Yeah, you're gonna need one. Also, Man of War Tattoo. I haven't seen Kevin Black in a while, so I'm just gonna say Man of War Tattoo. You figure it out. You just go figure it out because we don't know where Kevin is. And
if you find him, he'll tattoo you up.
he's like the T team.
Yeah, that's right.
The TT team. And then finally, again, I'm rocking some shoes. I totally forgot. I bought these.
Mm-hmm.
I've only worn them twice. These Ultras got like shoved into the shoe bin by the door, covered up by the 6,422 because I counted pairs of my children's shoes.
Oh.
Right? My wife is grooming these girls. People talk a lot about grooming these days, but let's talk about grooming girls to be obsessed with shoes. They don't have to be obsessed with shoes.
No.
Right? I know there's some boys that listen that are obsessed with shoes too, but I'm just saying, yeah.
He's already bringing me every pair of Jordans he wants.
Right. See? Kills me. I can't stand the shoes. Anyway, so I found them. These came from Run and Try. If you haven't been over there, we've talked about it a good bit. I have quite a few pairs there. In my fitness journey now, where it's shifted, where we've talked about running more, I do a lot of not CrossFit. I do cross exercise, so cross fitness, whether it's cycling, mixing in some running or whatever, trail building. I literally, that's the only place I'll buy shoes now because I feel like every time they fit me. Random story, Uncle Bobby, not friend of the show. He's just a guy. But Uncle Bobby was in my office. We were drinking coffee, complaining about our significant others and just having an old man's time. And I was like, hey, man, I like your Hokas. He goes, yeah. Listen, you got to go to this place. And he starts telling me, he's like, and this guy is there and he's going to fit you for the And I was like, hold on. Is it Aaron Friesmeyer? And he goes, yeah, Aaron. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, here we go. So Bobby found him on his own. Again, another place to go to get shoes. We can't speak enough about them.
At this point, I'm more of a runner than cyclist. I have almost as many running miles as I do biking miles this year. So this is now a running podcast.
Yeah, but there's a the difference I would argue though is how well, in fairness, are the cycling miles quality miles? Have they been mostly quality miles?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm not just aimlessly pedaling.
They're like you're aimlessly running.
Yeah, no, I'm aimlessly running.
Right.
Fast.
Yeah,
stupidly. But it's he actually called me this morning because the shoes that I run in came out with a new style. And he's like, dude, you ready? I'm like,
he's like a drug dealer.
He is a drug dealer because he knew it was like weird. My shoes on Monday went over 300 miles, which is when I have the alert set. And he calls me today and asks me if I'm ready.
No, that dude's hacked into your shiz, bro.
I don't know.
He's up into your shiz.
He's my neighbor, so he's like probably looking through my blinds, like, dude, his shoes are worn out. We got to get him.
Imagine Aaron like breaks into all of his customers' homes to check their tread and be like, "Oh, that's a 300."
The weird thing is, I've been in there when people walk in, and he could tell their gait right when they walk in. Like, oh, you need this shoe, this shoe, this shoe. And I'm like, oh, okay. I
wish we had that for someone on a bike side of things to fit you and adjust that. I mean, Jody does that to some extent with the tuning side, but like I'd love to have, if you go back and watch a lot of these guys, especially because it's downhill season, folks, I missed the freaking the stupid league and I wanted to be in it so bad, but it locked me out. But it's again, watching that stuff and going back, and the fun of watching some of these guys is, like all the extra stuff that goes into it. I think a lot of times people watch the downhill stuff and they don't pay attention, and all they care about is like how fast they went. Look how shreddy it is, bro, shreddy. But like I'm watching it it's like watching a NASCAR race. Boring AF until someone explained to me the strategy of tires and all the other components. And then NASCAR still boring, but at least I can appreciate that they change their tires in a weird. that's how the downhill stuff. There's so much other background stuff that's fascinating in the training side and the
Mhm.
development. I'm all into it now.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I watched the race live, so
Yeah, I did too. Did you though watch the GoPro? If you guys have not seen
yeah, I
it,
watched
you
it.
that's the fastest down I've ever seen.
No, I think it's the fastest ever.
It is really?
Yeah, I think it was. I think they said that run was the fastest run, maybe that's ever been recorded.
It is insane. Like
It's insane.
the GoPro effect means nothing
Mhm.
in that video. There is no GoPro effect. He's going so that makes me wonder how fast does it really feel like? And you hear him. I mean,
Oh yeah.
the best
Well,
part is
did you see it on the live? Ronan Dunn is who we're talking about.
which just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
by the
he's
way.
young. But they had the heart rate popping up on the screen. Did you
Yeah.
see that?
Oh yeah.
It was like you could see what heart rate they were at during their ride, which I thought was awesome because I know what heart rates are like. And his was at like 170 at one point. I'm like, how is it not higher than that? And then
He
all of a
was
sudden
young.
he went through a section, it was 187.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there we go. I
Yeah.
knew it was gonna hit.
But the one that killed me is watching the heart rate was Bruni. His
Yeah.
never changed.
That's because he's super athlete. I mean, they're all freak athletes.
Yeah.
Like they're all
But
physically
he's
fit. Yeah.
consistently a freak out.
Yeah.
And
there's-
Omri's not having the best season. Not a
No.
terrible one, but
No, but he was injured.
yeah, he's coming back.
And Dak, if you want to bring that junk ass hand, just crash.
It breaks my heart.
I hate it.
This guy has the greatest. If you guys have not seen it, his semi and his qualies are amazing
Yeah.
runs. He gets to the spot. Dak, everyone in the U.S. wants you or Luka Shaw to do something, and I don't
Because
think
we
he's
have
going to do it.
it's almost like, what if we just rolled out two idiots to be candidates for president? And now these are the two people we have in the United States. There can't be better. There's no one better than these two.
Dale, I think you're current right now. You've got very
wait.
current.
Wait. What? There's no one better than these two.
Oh my God! If you guys haven't seen it, especially watching it live, if you're not experiencing this,
I told my wife
the
2
hype
seconds
was
before.
so high, and I'm like, all right, this is it. I'm leaning in.
No.
I'm like Dak, and then, or actually, I just didn't look at the internet. I didn't know what had happened, and it was after I'd been out riding, so
Yeah.
I'm super stoked. And
I was watching
didn't
it
know
live.
where he was in the rankings because I was
Mhm.
like, okay, he's number one. This is it, first seed. I'm so excited, and then I mean, he's a minute and 5 seconds in or something, maybe
Mhm.
even less.
Yeah,
And then
less.
hits the only mud on the entire. He posted about it. He was like, I hit the only mud on the
Yeah.
entire trail.
Yeah, it was right when he started. I told my wife, I was like, well, this could be exciting, but he's probably going to wreck. She's like, why would you say that? I'm like,
'Cause he can't
traditionally,
score,
this is what happens.
I mean, he has.
It's the same. So Adam Scott, the golfer, used to use a belly putter, which is a long putter. They since have outlawed it. I used to like him. He started using that putter. It's gimmicky and trashy looking. I hated him. Dak's using these trashy handlebars. Have you seen them?
Uh-uh.
They're like way up. They're almost like chopper handlebars.
Wait, is he using that gimmick that
No.
Okay.
But he's using. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure it helps him. They showed some science
I mean,
where
he's a
it changes
big
his body.
motocross guy, though, right?
Yeah. And it
Does that-
changed like his riding style. If it helps, sure. But don't try that kind of stuff in the middle of the season. He just switched. Like try it on the off season.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kyle Butcher and I actually had that conversation. Like he said he respects the fact that he would change stuff, but I'm like, man,
I don't know,
I don't
bro.
know.
I don't know.
Just go. For
Seems like a lot of balls to go.
You can
through.
wear you can ride with those if you win.
Yeah,
they look really bad on the ground.
Fair enough. It's a good point. It's a very good point. Speaking of that, so what I wanted to talk about today is we've had a couple of challenges over this. Our bike season here in this part of the country, wherever you're listening, and hi to our friends in France and Canada. We respect you and love you and are very envious. But down here, we get riding season pretty much all year round. So there is no decline of that. In fact, arguably, we are coming out of peak riding season. Ours is winter into spring. And because it's just pleasant outside. And for some reason, people aren't showing up. I have no idea why. What's that?
No spider webs.
No spider webs. That's right. But over the course of this past season, Dale and I both have had different challenges, bike changes, whatever. The most notable, there's a great episode if you want to go back and listen to it, where we talked about Dale broke his common cell, his Meta, and he had to go through customer service, and we talked about that relationship. Well, his new bike is here, and he's had a little bit of time to ride it, so we'll revisit it. But I do think it'd be an interesting conversation just to bring up, to basically interview Dale, because I want you guys to consider this perspective. He had the previous model, and then they changed it. So like it'd be like going you went from a 2020 model to the 2024. So they have a 4-year gap, 3-year gap, probably more realistically. Nothing changed into those. It was basic same bike, except for color schemes and whatever. But now it's a different bike. So I wanted to maybe just talk through that. So first question, teeing it up. when you compare both bikes, what was the experience like going from the shiny Meta to the black Meta, or what are you calling your new one?
It's a V5.
That
The
V5.
V4 is the first one.
So what is the experience like going from the V4 to the V5? How has that been? Just general, like when you first felt it.
So the very first time I built the V4, the Todd helped me, and I remember like pushing out of the garage and sitting down on it. And I was coming from a Specialized camber, so it was more upright, still 130 travel, but it was kind of like I was sitting on top of it. I built the Meta and didn't know what to expect. Never ridden a long travel bike. I sat down on it and I felt like I was on a chopper, and I was like, what have I done? Like, this is not exactly what I expected. Like, I started pedaling around his driveway, and there was a moment of disappointment. Like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to ride this bike because it's not the way I need it to be. Like
Right.
I felt like, oh shit, here we go. I
Right.
wasted all this money, time, energy. And so I remember going the
On
next
just
day.
looking cool.
Right, exactly. That was all it was. I was like strictly aesthetics. So I went the next day and I rode it south because I was like, at the time, that's where we had to ride. I went and rode, and it felt like I was riding in peanut butter.
Oh yeah.
And
that
I was like,
sucks, dude, that feeling is awful.
I was like, there's no way. And I had put like a super aggressive tire on the rear as well. And I was like, I gotta,
Like heavy casing the whole thing.
yeah, I did the Specialized Eliminator. I put them on the front and back.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I gotta fix this. I don't know how, but I'm not gonna be able to keep this bike. So I remember that time I put a ground control on the back. I know it's not an enduro tire, but where we ride, it's perfect. Like it grips the sand.
That is 100% science fact.
Yeah.
In fact, if you ride in any kind of conditions like ours,
Yeah.
if you have sand, whether you guys are in Mississippi, Florida, wherever, if you're not running ground controls, you're missing out on primo speed
And cheap tires.
and cheap tires. Also, who gives a crap if they match or not? That's a Dale problem, not a Drew problem. I got 3 different brands. I don't even give it 2 buckets.
Yeah. So fast forward a couple years, I put 2,000 miles on an Eliminator and a ground control tire on that bike.
Yep.
And I found out the ways that I like it. Like, I figured out, wow, downhill, it goes ridiculously fast. Like,
Yep.
I have a hard time holding on to it. So then I ride the bike for a couple years, got really over comfortable with it, figured out it saved my ass so many times, but with the suspension, and the bike was kind of a tank in a lot of aspects.
And had some enduro wins with it too, right?
Yeah, I did really well in some enduro racing with it, and it's just it made me a better rider. I think it was a different style of riding, a different type of bike to ride. So now let's go to the new bike. I get the new bike, and I was like, I want it to feel the same, but I want it to be different, because when you upgrade, it's almost like you upgrade an iPhone, right?
Yep.
And you get the same it's the same operating software. You're like, what did I just pay for? You got the same exact thing, just a different look.
Right.
And that's what I did not want. I
Right.
wanted it to feel different. Well, the whole rear linkage on the new V5 is different. So I was already excited about that. And then it has a flip chip and things like that. So I got to ride it, and I was like, oh my goodness, it actually feels the same, but it pedals easier. And
Right.
it like gets up to speed faster, and it doesn't feel as sluggish. And so, I'm still a few miles into it. I haven't ridden it really a lot, and I haven't got the suspension dialed quite yet, but it's pretty sweet so far.
I think it's an interesting juxtaposition to have that conversation, because like yours was a scenario of you damaged your bike.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of taking your life in your own hands, especially like not necessarily at the reb. I mean, there's some danger at the reb. Don't get me wrong, guys, but it's most likely you're going to hit a tree, which is not going to be the bike's fault in that case. But if we were going to places where there was much more aggressive drops and other things, like if we're at Oak Mountain, or if we're at even Standing Boy or any of the, you're starting in an area where the bike, the dependability and the confidence in the bike is going to really matter, right? Not just the handling confidence. I'm talking about physical confidence. And you have this piece where it could be, right? But as you've gone through it, have in this little window, do you feel like, is your confidence the same on it? How is that adjusted? Because you got very comfortable and confident on that bike, but this is enough of a change, or what's that vibe been like?
So I thought for sure the only reason I haven't been comfortable is because I built it. Well, Pat and I put it together. So then you have that fear of like, did I tighten this right? Did I do that right? So at the first couple rides, I was like listening to every single noise, because I'm like, wait, what was that? What was that? But now it's crazy, because I think like the one video I posted was the first 5 trips that I've ridden. Like, I've thrown a huge jump off of something huge for me, off of something, and it's like I didn't feel like I'd be that comfortable that quick.
Right.
And it almost, I hit primal. Those of you that know, my second time on primal, I jumped every single thing all the way down.
Right.
And to like do that, it was like there's some stuff you can roll, for everybody that doesn't know. So there's like some rollable doubles, and it's easier to roll them, but I doubled all of them and made it. It's hard, it's tricky.
And it's very tight. So you guys, it says a Dale Boyd trail, which means that the woods are very near you.
Yeah.
They're very near and dear to the woods.
Yeah, there's
Stark
times
wide, and it's like a funnel. All of his
Yeah.
trails are like a sales funnel.
It's that trail itself is like, for me, even there's times where I won't jump the second double because I don't come out of the berms fast enough or
Right.
in the right frame of mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those, you have to respect every part of it. But so that was like my benchmark of like, damn, I actually feel comfortable on this bike, and I realized it's actually way faster. Like it's more nimble. Than
But they've changed some stuff, so it's not
Yeah.
just the rear linkage,
Right.
like that changed. But then isn't the reach is different, right?
Yeah, the reach is
So
way
it's a little more compact, is it not?
Yeah, the reach went from 515 to 494.6 or something like
Which
that.
doesn't sound like a lot, but that is more than you
Yeah,
realize.
it's a lot. When I first started riding it, I was like, man, it just feels really tight. And I didn't really look at the numbers before that. It didn't feel like tight, like I was gonna be in pain tight. Like other
Or
one,
down a size. It didn't feel down
yeah,
a size.
no,
either.
it didn't feel down a size either. My other bike, I felt like I was literally in. If you've ever seen my V4 Meta, the polished one, it is a massive bike.
Yep.
Like it is just a big bike, and the new one's doesn't feel that big. Maybe the color changes it. Black is slimming, I guess.
It's true. That is true.
But it just makes it feel, it's more compact. I don't know it. And when I was riding on the tight trails that we have, like it just rips, like it just rips through there. And I was, like I said, I'm really happy how comfortable I got that quick. Like I was scared that it was going to take some time.
I think one of the things that is the big question is, like, we have a lot of I don't have a lot of friends that do this, but I've seen a lot of people in communities, bike communities, do this where, they literally almost hop from model to model, much like iPhone people do.
Yeah.
And the realistic side of that is you can do that. That's your money. I want you to be happy. You do you, boo. But at the end of the day, like, that's a lot of money. You're just changing hands for moderate upgrades in technology. Right. So a lot of times we see that with, not all the bike brands are doing it, but some of them are dropping, like, these changes are, they're, instead of being like every few years, 3-4 years, they're like every 2 years. And I think that's going to change now based on post-pandemic world, that shift. But a lot of people jump on it. Would you say, though, looking at it, would you have gone ahead and bought a V5 if your V4 wasn't damaged, or do you think you'd still be riding the V4? Like, is it a scenario of of making that leap, or is it, no, I'm really happy with the V4, I have to buy the V5 because of damages?
I think I was happy. I mean, I could have rode that bike forever.
Yeah.
It did everything I wanted it to do. And I think that it could do more than I could. I don't think that there was any limitations. I was offered by Commencell to get that exact frame again. And they didn't have polish. They had other colors. But I wanted, if I was going to pay money, I was like, I might as well get the new one,
Why not?
I do think, though, that you're right in a regard where I think that when I got that Meta, like the industry had gone from
The
like
V4 Meta.
the V4. I'm sorry, to be clear, the industry had gone from like everything was 130 was a long travel bike, right? Like it was a different geometry. That was like the first generation of everything had to be 150, 160, and this was the geometry. So everybody's putting out bikes like that, and I think that it took a little bit of time. Those bikes came out. And then it took a little bit of time for them to dial in a perfect geometry structure where it was like, wait a minute, we can get that same kind of travel, but make it feel more efficient, like a more pedally bike.
Yeah.
And it, ironically, Commencell put out a Tempo, which is only 130, 120, super aggressive, but it's their trail bike now. Well, this bike that I have isn't in their enduro section, not even on trail section. So it's 160, 150. So I think that they've just dialed in, they've got more efficient with the geometry and kind of just changed. And it's like micro degrees of different geometry
between it and the Tempo, even?
No, between it and my old bike.
So the V4, V5.
Yeah. But it's just crazy how that small of a difference makes it, like, even the flip chip, it's like, it doesn't do that much. It really does. It makes the reach longer. It changes the seat tube angle. Like, it does a lot. Again, like Drew started in the whole podcast with, we don't know shit about bikes. Like, we are dumb.
Yeah,
literally
100%.
We don't know shit. We know how to pedal them. And like, when I say I'm dialing in my suspension, I don't know. I'm turning knobs, bro.
Yeah. I was going to say, one of the things that Dale and I have talked about, we're going to gladly share it. We're going to probably do some video. Obviously, this podcast has a video component, but we'll talk about it on the podcast and maybe update along the way. But we're both, because we both have relatively newer bikes. Mine is ballparked estimated by the legendary Todd Hall, who was the human Shock Whiz. But we are both going to get the Shock Whiz. I think we're going to get that from Pro Cycle.
Mm-hmm.
We'll rent that piece, but we're both going to test it and then dial them in and then talk about that experience, because I think it's an interesting bit.
Yeah.
I'm just curious and you're just curious, and we both have new bikes that have
Mm.
new styles of riding that have changed where we were. So it is a great way to break up that sort of that side of it. When you bought the bike, you get the frame in, which was a little bit of a fiasco just in terms of UPS. It was nothing to do with Common Sale, I don't think.
Yeah,
but
no, it was FedEx. FedEx
sure.
was trash.
Yeah, they're not the best. When you went through that, so what all were you able to take from your old and add to this, or what did you end up doing? You bought everything brand new, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I could have
Some
I could have
bitch.
just taken everything from it and put it on.
Yeah.
But the more every time I'm like, well, why would I put this? It's old. Why would I do that? It's old. So I got a new cassette, I got new chain, new tires, new everything. New
You saying
brake.
wheels though?
Well, so I had these wheels, I wasn't using them.
Got
They're
it.
Hunt wheels. I just had swapped out to the Hope, and I just put those back on. And actually, I don't know why I wasn't using them. Honestly, I forgotten why I had done it in the past.
Didn't you destroy some? What were the wheels?
Yeah,
you
I destroyed those.
Oh.
I still have those too.
Yeah.
They were Hunt as well, but Hunt warranted them.
No, good for them.
Yeah. So, and Shane Richardson, shout out Shane, because I know you destroy wheels more than anyone on the
I
planet.
saw that his content of wheel destruction is
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I actually laugh about it, but and I laugh with you, Shane, not at you.
As long as you're not injured,
yeah, as long as you're not injured, you're good. But no, I ended up putting all the consumable stuff, brake pads, things like that I was like, man, I'm not.
Did you move your TRPs over? Or did you buy
yeah, I put the new TRP, or put new pads on the TRPs.
But you brought your TRPs over. So
yeah,
that is something.
Yeah, I brought that over. I had to get a new seat post. PSA right now, everybody stop this podcast immediately and come back to it, but go pull your seat post out and oil it, because my seat post, aluminum to aluminum, was literally stuck.
Yeah.
We soaked it, Pat and I soaked it in different chemicals for a day.
Which is the equivalent of soaking with Todd in the tub.
That's right. We soaked a lot of things. Yes. Shout
out to Soaking with Todd, the coming soon podcast.
So we did that. We beat it with a mallet, a rubber, dead blow hammer. We did everything we could possibly think of. He even hooked it to a winch on his Jeep and tried to pull it out, and nothing would budge it. He was determined. I told him to just screw it. I ordered a new one anyway, because I was just frustrated. But he was determined. He took it home and put some, I don't know what kind of chemical at it,
something to hide bodies.
Some kind of acid. Yeah, some kind of acid. He put it in there and it finally freed up, and he busted it, got it loose. And I was super happy. But this is just a PSA. I have never I had not at that point. I knew aluminum and steel because my BMX bikes did it, but aluminum and aluminum is not that common. So heads up, check it.
There you go.
And carbon and aluminum too. Carbon and aluminum is bad.
Especially that.
Yeah. So just adjust your seat post every once in a while. Apparently I had not, which is another good thing is I didn't have to fix it. That's why it was working flawlessly. So.
Right. Because it was locked in.
Because it was stuck.
It was so stuck in. Yeah. I think it's one of those things that I remember that we went to Justin's graduation, and shout out to Justin, Juan, whatever you want to call him, for graduating college.
Absolutely.
Well done, son. But we were going to graduation, and suddenly there's like this whole bit of dialogue about a winch and acid. Mm-hmm. I'm just sitting there like, what the hell is going on? It's just normal Dale and Pat conversations, apparently. To the outside, sounds like there's bodies being hidden somewhere across the country.
We're the BBC.
Or the
Pat
BBC.
And I. No, we're the berm building crew.
Berm building crew, that's right.
A lot of things get buried in berms.
Fair point. So with that, do you feel like now that you will experience a different, like obviously you talk about it riding different, but do you think having the bike upgrade is also an interesting way, or the bike change, the geometry trains, all that, is that also an interesting way to make riding different again for you? Or do you feel like it's just like another pair of shoes, more of the same?
It was kind of at a time in the year right now. I needed a little energy boost to go ride, and it was a good for that. Yeah. I think it was I think anything new like that is important to us, especially when it's something you're passionate about. You know, if you got a new camera, you would be shooting with it all the time, right?
Yeah.
And you do. I've been there.
Yep.
But so it's like one of those things. It's weird because it's like the same but different.
Yeah.
You know, so my wife hates it. She's like, it's just a black bike. It's so stupid. And I told her it rained on Friday, and DJ and I were meeting to take pictures of it because I literally just got it put together that day. And she's like, it just rained. You're gonna go ride? I was like, no, we're going to take pictures. She's like, you guys are so douchey. She's like, you should have just said you're gonna ride in the rain.
Yeah.
So for the outside world, yeah, it doesn't make sense, but to us, it made perfect sense.
No, I mean, I get it. I mean, it becomes a thing of like, especially the more. I don't think I'd ever been in tune with the bike, and I think that's something that I always was envious of with you and your metas, is that you always seem to be in tune with your bikes.
Maybe it's because I spent so much time building them, which is also I hate it.
Fair point. You just always had that connection. It wasn't until for me, it wasn't until my Ibis that I finally got that, like, that's my bike. It didn't feel like I was riding somebody else's. Still, I wish I could have said that about the Trek. I like my EXE. I liked my Gorilla Gravities, but they never felt like my bikes. And then this feels like mine. So now there's a whole different mental thing that's happened in riding it and all that kind of stuff. So the same sort of vibe. I guess if you and I are having this conversation and we're talking about, because I bought a new bike, right? I mean, Bitcoin did well. So Bitcoin bought me a new bike. And then you were forced to buy a new bike.
Yeah.
But I think for both of us, what is your takeaway if someone's like, hey, I'm on the fence. I have a V4 of whatever it is, and I could go to a V5, and I have let's just say the expendable income, because I don't think it's ever wise to waste or spend money you don't have. I would never finance bike stuff if you can afford not to. That's the way to live a better life. Just free tips from Drew and Dave Ramsey. But what would you say? I mean, what is your take on it now? Do you think it's worth that? Hey, I've ridden this bike for 4 years, or what is your takeaway on it now?
I guess I mean, if you have the money to buy it, go for it. But if not, then just ride that. Like, I would have ridden that bike forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no reason. That was the only reason I bought a new one. I think that we get enamored. We make that joke of like mountain biking is cheap until you have friends that mountain bike, because if your buddy shows up with a new bike then you're going to want to change. But if you ride by yourself, you're never going to know the difference.
Right.
So, and I've said that so many times to so many people because it's the truth. Like, the other thing is, I don't know, our friends are all this. You're not, because you have 3 different brands of bikes, but people are like brand snobs, right? Like whatever bike they buy, they don't know. They just bought it off the internet, like most of us, unless they bought it at a bike shop.
Right. But even then, they might not have gone to other shops sometimes.
Right.
They went to the one.
Yeah, they got one bike and they're like super happy with it. And all of a sudden it's the greatest thing on that brand is the best ever.
Right.
And I think that's awesome. Everybody has their brand and that's cool. But do you like, I'm weird about it. I don't dislike anybody that wants a bike just like mine, but I'm weird about like, hey, I ride Common Cell. Like, you can ride one, but I prefer if you didn't get the same color as me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I get it.
Sometimes you go ride and there's like everybody's riding a black stump jumper or something.
Well, I think it's more interesting on the mass produced bikes, the big black brands, right? I think you see that more common than you do like when there is a Common Cell. Now, I remember there's a kid over in at Boca Chico who rides the hardtail version
of my bike,
of your bike, whatever it was, in the chrome and everything. But that kid's not even in your wheelhouse, friendship wise, like your friend circle. So like, great, he's on the outside, but it's cool. It was cool to see both, to see him kind of side by side on that side of it. And there's obviously, for me, I ride a bigger brand. There's thousands of Ibis riders. There's a lot of Ibis riders. Whether or not they land in that, I'm with you. I think though that the bigger challenge is that in areas like us, I think it's frustrating, and I think it's more interesting. I could sit on your bike. I don't ride clipless. I could sit on your bike. I could feel it, but I couldn't really ride your bike. Right. Also, it's too big for me.
Yeah.
Although that range is kind of in my upper
it's like
end.
it's like
weird.
You know when you smoke cigarettes back in the day?
Yeah.
It's you smoke menthol, so no one wants to borrow them.
Yeah. No, that's exactly.
I'm riding a XL because I'm riding menthol, so no one can ride it.
But I do think it would be more interesting. Anytime anybody wants to ride my bike, I let them. I didn't care if it was the e-bike or the Gorilla Gravity, or whatever. Just because, how else are you going to know? I didn't know. Exactly. I bought all of those sight unseen, and I hate that I did, except for my Ibis, because it was perfect.
Yeah, think about what other multi-$1,000 decision are you making blindly? None.
Well, I
buying
mean,
it.
surgeries.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
When your
sure.
doctor comes in and is like, which side was it again? Marks an X on your hand. Thanks, sir.
But that's the crazy thing.
You're
It's like
right.
we're making multi.
What about with golf clubs? Would you do that with golf clubs?
No, dude, I got fitted. If you're spending over $500, you got to get fitted.
Over 500.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but
clubs.
we're talking about spending
I know.
upwards of 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8. Some guys 10 grand.
It's crazy.
Having
And
never
this
even
is the
seen it.
exact conversation that you'll have at a bike shop that they'll tell you, why are you spending this much money when you're not getting fitted or you don't know
Right.
what you're buying?
No, it's a fair point.
It's very true. I mean, this is the
And
argument.
shout out
bike shop.
again to the local bike shop for being able to at least
Right.
supply you with the opportunity.
Absolutely.
It is weird to me, and I know they can't call them rentals. I don't want to ride in a parking lot to make that decision either.
Oh, shout out Biloxi Bicycle Works. I did see he's renting Trek XE9s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, with transmission on them even. Yeah,
like 9.9.
Yeah, I saw he made a post about it. So shout out Bart.
Yeah, good
We'll
job,
talk soon.
Bart. That's some pros, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. But I mean, even then, like I wouldn't. I don't know what to do. Like I looked for Ibis places to go test, and they have them. There's what's the other Biloxi? There's another. Oh gosh, guys, he's a really nice guy.
Duncan is his name.
Yep.
Well, I don't know.
Yep.
I'm gonna say the wrong name.
Yeah, can't remember it. But there's an Ibis dealer there, but they never have them in stock.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's kind of like sometimes Pro Cycle doesn't have Santa Cruz in stock.
Right.
They have pivots right now, but they didn't have Santa Cruz's sometimes. But they're a dealer, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is hard to be able to go test all those. And it is an interesting thing. So it's like, how do you, I guess you go to a group ride and be like, well, could I ride your bike? But I need to ride it on the trails. I don't want to ride in the stupid gravel parking lot or a concrete.
Well, those are the people that are listening in bigger towns get demo days.
That's exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, people are rolling their eyes at us.
Our demo days are, dude, can I ride your bike? My
Yeah.
butt's a little sweaty. Don't mind it.
Hey, man, you don't have the clap, do you?
Please don't sniff the seat when I get back.
Lord. I will say, I once I went to a fitted saddle, I'll never go back. Like
I did get a new seat too.
You don't do fitted saddles, so you have no idea.
This seat's actually sweet. It might be the first one that actually fits me right.
Yeah, probably. Dale's riding little narrow like banana seats.
I know they're faster.
They're faster.
That's how you get KOMs, Blair.
Does it. All them KLMs. Yeah. So, is there anything else we want to talk about?
Well, do you think that like maybe people in your circle buy different bikes because the other people don't have them? You know, like
maybe
I'm going to buy this because this guy doesn't. Nobody has it.
Yeah, maybe.
That's why I did it in the first place. Was like the bikes that I was looking at the time were like Common Cell and YT and a couple other, but people started getting YT, so I was like, I got to be different.
Could be,
and I think that probably influences a little bit. Right now, the hot freshness is transitions.
Yeah,
everybody's loving them.
They're cranking out.
And I'm not a Common Cell fanboy for life. Like I'll switch if the need arises, but the deal that I got was too good to pass it up.
I wouldn't. I mean, I don't blame you. I wouldn't change. I mean, it's the same with me and Ibis now because I enjoy the way that bike rides.
Mm-hmm.
I have a AF2, I guess. I don't have the newest version of it. I have last year's, but I got it new. But
I always joke that like we buy these bikes. Like Ibis is a big company.
Yeah.
Common Cell's not as big, but like
at least not in the U.S. We don't know what they're overseas. They could be bigger overseas.
True. Yeah. Sure. People like look at Specialized and they're like, oh, it's just a Specialized. It's like, no, those bikes have the most R&D money thrown into them. Yeah. And I've never heard of anybody that rides a stump jumper that's like, this bike sucks.
Right.
You never hear that. We could all just ride stump jumpers for life and be content.
Yeah. Except for climbing. Dude, I don't care what anybody says. Climbing on a stumpy sucks.
I've never done it.
It's awful, in my opinion. Yeah. Comparative to DW Link, what I'm riding now, it's like I don't even feel like I feel like I have a motor.
I just think climbing sucks regardless.
Well, that's just you. I like it.
I do. I mean, I climb. So I'm not as bad as some of our friends, Pat and Jake.
Yeah.
Pat says, his bike is broken, his transmission, the brakes, TRP. But no shade on TRP because I love him. Pat
I have one.
So his bike the brakes have been in and out since he got it. I was like, well, ride your other bike. And he's like, no, it's dead to me. It's like, no. It's so dramatic.
I love it. He's going downhill with just
his other bike is the highest in stump jumper. Carbon weighs about 18 pounds.
Oh, it's fluff. It's just literally, it's like a feather floating through.
It's beautiful. I wish I could ride it.
You look like a tricycle for you. You look like a grown man riding a tricycle.
Yeah, I'm not in the midget things.
No, definitely not. Certainly not. Especially not the
That's
top.
another shout out to
Yeah.
the Soaking.
That is a soaking episode all waiting to happen. All right. Well, I'm gonna just say definitive answer, should I buy a new bike or not, is always gonna be maybe.
Maybe that's right.
I'm never gonna give,
Is your style changing? Is your
Yeah.
is your style changing? Is your conditions changing? Are you moving? Did the riding area where you're
I
riding
wouldn't
change?
buy an upgrade if you don't. I wouldn't upgrade a current frame if you don't need to.
Right. No.
That's what I would say.
Right.
I would not.
It's not going to make you better.
It's not going to make you better. That's fair point. In fact, I'd argue if you get to that point and you're kind of bored, go build trails.
Yeah, or go faster on the current trails.
Fact.
Mhm.
Take your brakes off and go ride.
Yeah, I've always said that. People think that it's same with golf clubs. Good analogy earlier. That I'm going to buy the new driver and it's going to make me drive better. Well, your driver doesn't handle the slice. Like
right. Your swing still sucks.
Your swing still sucks. So it's like, how do you want a better bike? Maybe let's try fitness for about 6 months and save some money and get in shape.
I mean, it changes everything.
It does.
We've talked about it a good bit. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you for hanging out with us. As always, we're very, very, very grateful. If you would like to, we had a contest, but we both forgot about it.
No, it's on there. It's just not done yet.
Oh.
We're still waiting for people.
Got it. If you haven't reached out to us or given us a like or a shout or a plus or a yay on good old fashioned Apple Podcast or Spotify, we would appreciate it. We were at one point one of the fastest growing podcasts about mountain biking in the Southeast Alabama, United States. Quantified. Listen, you can win awards for all kinds of things.
We were on the top ish.
Yeah, we were.
We really were.
Yeah.
You guys have
from podcastlog.com somewhere. I'm just kidding. Anyway, if you have a chance, give us a review. If you have questions or thoughts, or you have ideas for guests or anything, we're always open. This is just as much your show as it is ours. If you'd like for us to attend an event that you are at, or you would like for us to promote an event you're at, we're happy to do so. But we have to, there's certain things that have to happen for that. And I'm just being candid about it. This takes time and money for us to do. So if you want us to promote it to help you make money, then we want to make a little money. That's just the way it works. If you got a problem with it, blame my water bottle. If you don't know what that means, you can read the side of it. Some people get that joke. With that said, just remember what Dale Boyd says.
Buy a new bike if you suck at riding.
On a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what?